Saturday morning, you may be driving around, you may be packing up the kids to go look at some homes, but if you are and you're listening to this radio show, you tuned into the right place. Why? Because I have everything that you're going to want to know about real estate, and if you tune in every Saturday between 11 and 12, I'll be here, your host, Dawood Bedrosian, to give you all the tips that you need on buying or selling your house, on lucrative ways to find some great investment deals. What are you looking for when you're looking for a property or vacation home? Some tricks and tips that you can use when buying a fix and flip. And more importantly, how investing in real estate is really the cheat code to your success. The whole show is designed so that we can cover all things real estate. And like you guys know, I like to start off the show by giving you a little bit of an update on what's going on in the market. The Orlando market is probably one of the hottest markets in all of the United States. Housing market has been on fire here with record low mortgages. We have a sudden wave of relocations, which made possible by the pandemic and having people being able to work from home. And of course, home prices have been pushing new boundaries as buyer demand continues to surge in our Orlando market. Our current inventory for February 2021 is just hovering around 3,420 homes. That pretty much equates to about 1 month's worth of inventory in our market. Why is that? Well, Florida has been one of the, my opinion, greatest states to live in during this whole fiasco that we've been going through. With the help of Governor DeSantis, we have comparatively low unemployment rates. We have schools that are open. Our restaurants are open. We have great weather and people are flocking. As you can see, driving down I-4, you see all of these different license plates from different states coming in from all over the place to come and enjoy all the attractions that we have in our beautiful market. And what's going on over here? We have prices that are once again soaring. We have listings that have fallen by more than 50% by this time last year. Our housing market has been expanding, and it's obviously owing to our city beautiful and all that we have to offer. You know, there's a study that says there's going to be more than 5.2 million people that will call Central Florida home by 2030. Orlando has been ranked by Advisor Smiths as the number 3 cities with the greatest job growth. And of course, there's a ton of people that are relocating here. There's been some really interesting studies, according to, for example, Extra Space, like the storage company, that says 56% of Americans are planning to move in 2021, as compared to 35% last year that moved in 2020. So this shift in this whole economy has essentially accounted for 1 in 5 Americans that have either moved during the pandemic or that know someone that is looking to move. And the weird part about it is the majority of these movers aren't relocating according to the neighbor study of 2020-2021 for American Migration Report, which surveyed over 1,000 U.S. people. What they found was people are moving because of job flexibility, and ultimately they're doing it because of a cheaper cost of living. So when you couple that with everything that we have to offer here in the Orlando market, you can begin to understand why Orlando in particular becomes a really favorable city for people to move in. With a median price of approximately $290,000 for a home, that's actually quite affordable compared to a lot of the other cities in which people are relocating from the Northeast, like New York, Chicago, California, just to name a few. And actually, U-Haul on their website named these 3 cities, all 3 Florida cities, as the top cities that attracted migration trends in the United States. Those were Northport, which is north of Sarasota, Kissimmee, which of course is at the doorstep of all the world famous theme parks that we have, and we've retained the 2nd spot here, and then Port St. Lucie. And the reason for that is because, as I mentioned earlier, low interest rates, affordable housing, and more importantly, millennials that are looking to either trade up from an apartment or move finally because they're able to work from home to somewhere more desirable that meets their lifestyle needs. Now, you add that with this flexibility that you have, and all of a sudden you begin to understand how all of these migration patterns are coming down to Florida. I mean, we've been watching all this fiasco on all of our social media with all the spring breakers down in Miami, and thankfully we are more of a family-oriented town. But on that note, we want to actually kind of stress why this time of year is actually having a lot more people come down to the area. And what we're also noticing is some really interesting patterns that actually came to my surprise. Who would have thought that the vacation rental market close to Disney would actually become a hotbed for people looking to relocate, stay in these properties as ideally a second home, while then considering that property to be more of an investment property once things start to settle, and whether or not they decide to go back to wherever cities they have come from and actually just use this as a vacation property. Those properties are going off the market at incredibly fast rates. And then more importantly, the existing inventory that's available in the Orlando market is also disappearing because we're also getting into multiple offer type scenarios along with prices at or even above list price. So with that in mind, Zillow even conducted a study, and they're anticipating that pricing would appreciate even more so than they did last year. The year-to-year increase went up by 16.6%, and they're anticipating for 2021 that price appreciation is going to go up anywhere between 9 to 10% by the fall of this year, which is really great news for those of you looking to list your house and sell your house and are on the sidelines debating whether now is a good time or not. It may be the best time for you to consider that because there's definitely a huge demand on a buyer side, and you're definitely going to be getting top dollar for that from people that are desperately looking for a place to live. Now, when you're looking at that, I want to actually spend some time to actually talk about the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture here is we've focused on internal migration, but there actually may be a ton of international clients that I've personally spoken to that have expressed a want or a need to either expand on their business or take advantage of Florida's booming economy because of the higher cost of living, the cheaper homes that you can purchase compared to a lot of the cities that you're in. And I think COVID in many ways has demonstrated the weakness or the vulnerability of a lot of nations out there, whether it's their healthcare system, their ability to deliver vaccines in a timely manner, or just purely all the lockdowns that have taken place and the curfews that have immobilized a lot of their citizens. And they're looking at Florida and they're saying, you know what, this is a great place to consider to come and live in because relative to other places, we have less restrictive terms, restrictions in terms of lockdowns. We've allowed for more gyms and restaurants to generate and thrive again. And a lot of these reasons would be the reasons why people are actually coming to Orlando to enjoy everything that we have to offer. And to help me take this broader perspective, I have a really special guest with me here in the studio. I have Mr. Nayef Mubarak, the founder of Mubarak Law, who is actually going to be spending some time with us for the next 45 minutes or so to go through all of these interesting topics. So on that note, welcome to the show, Nayef.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, really, right?
You have a radio voice. I didn't even realize that.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, I guess. Thanks for having me, though. It's a beautiful studio.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about Mubarak Law and what you guys do here in the Orlando area.
So about me personally, we came here as a family in the late 80s to Orlando.
Not much going on
then. No, there was not much going on. And so basically raised in Central Florida, high school, undergrad, law school.
Nice.
So it's been wonderful to see it grow. And then after law school, I worked for a big firm downtown. And after being partner in there for 6 years, I opened my own firm roughly, can't believe I'm going to say this, almost 5 years ago.
Wow, time's flies. I remember when you first did open it up.
I know, it was just me and my paralegal, and I'm like, let's see what we can do. And now I think we're about like 10 or 11 people.
Wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
And what area of law do you specialize in?
So we specialize in immigration and personal injury, like car accidents and slip and fall. I am also the, I am very active in a lot of immigration law aspects where I chair like the Orange County Board for Central Florida, as well as the American Immigration Lawyers Association of Central Florida. So usually if it's immigration, I'm pretty passionate about it, and I'm happy to share that with you guys today.
So we couldn't find a better guest to bring onto the show to actually talk about migration patterns coming into the Orlando area, and obviously reshaping the demographics that we see. And some of the many topics that we're going to be touching on is this influx that I am anticipating, because I can imagine when the borders open up, two things are going to happen. Tourism is going to come back with a vengeance. And I think in many cases, we may even break our record of 78 million visitors that came down in 2019. And I think we're also going to potentially see this great migration pattern from neighboring countries, I think from a lot of countries in Central America and South America, as well as from Canada, just to name a few. Are you getting inquiries about people considering to move during this time?
Definitely, and I think, I've been doing immigration almost 11 years, and I always ask, why are you choosing Orlando? And they come here on vacation, and then they're saying, I want to stay here. I'm like, well, it's not just Disney World. Like, no, we don't care about, they do, but the quality of life that we have in Central Florida and in the U.S. typically, because I do get a lot of clients from very first world modern countries with, the things, but they still have an interest to come to the U.S. Whether they're from Europe or the, Middle East or Dubai, everybody still kind of says the same thing. There's nowhere like the USA. So I think now with the shutdowns, I do think it's going to kind of just explode with tourism and travel here, and especially investor visas. And we've just noticed a big increase recently in the last few months about people wanting to try to migrate to the U.S.
Well, on that note, if you're tuning in, this is Dawood Bedrosian with Real Sense Now. Please call in or text at 321-339-1055 and ask Nayef all the questions that you possibly want to. Nayef, I have a ton of questions for you, but hang tight. We're going to come back right after the break.